So it's been 3 years since Michael Myers returned to Haddonfield. This time around, he is here to get as many kills as he possibly can. So Halloween Kills has been a movie that I've been very much anticipating. It was in my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2020, and then it was my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2021. I'm glad I've finally seen it. Ever since I've seen the 2018 movie, that has been part of my ritual for every Halloween. I watch the first movie and then I go on to the second one. I do prefer H2O as a continuation of the Laurie's storyline, telling her storyline years later with Michael Myers returning. I think H2O does a better job there, but I don't have a Blu-ray of that, so Halloween 2018 became that movie. But I was always going into this expecting it to be a trilogy I watch every year until the fourth movie came out. But after watching this movie, I'm in no hurry to rewatch this movie. I imagine I will rewatch it before the new one comes out, but honestly, I can't see this being part of my yearly ritual unless the third movie's so good, and then I watch all four every year. But as of right now, the third movie, as in Halloween Kills, was a massive disappointment compared to other horror movies that came out this year. I actually made a ranking on my Letterboxd of all of the 2021 horror movies I've seen. I've seen 15 this year, and it's actually coming in at 10th. It's below Conjuring 3 and Spiral, which are two movies that I didn't hate, but it's above movies like the Don't Breathe 2 or the Forever Purge. So it's not great. It's not in the it's of course it's in my top 10. There's only 15, but it's not on the high level of horror movies of this year as I was kind of expecting it to be. Before going into the cinema, I was looking at my Letterboxd, my ranking for 2021. I was thinking, I wonder where it's going to fit. I wonder, is it going to be in top 10? So you can imagine how disappointed I actually was when it came out, and it was in my it's not even in my top 20, top 30, I think, of my overall 2021 movies. But that's not all negative. There is a lot of things I do like. Of course, this movie is called Halloween Kills, and it really lives up to the name. This movie has got so many awesome kills, so many brutal kills. Michael Myers, I think I saw on Instagram that this movie now has the most kill count of any slasher movie in history, which makes complete sense. Michael Myers kills people left, right, and center. Every time he kills someone, every time Michael Myers is on screen, it's literally weird if we only see him kill one person rather than a large group of people. He literally goes from house to house, building to building, just killing people in all these brutal, dark ways, where it's the scene that everyone has seen now from the trailers with the fireman at the start, which I saw clips of that in the trailer, but it just goes on, it keeps going. It's so dark in the movie, and it's a brilliant opening scene, a really great way to show Michael Myers. Also, you see him just going from house to house killing people, whether they're getting stabbed in the face, stabbed in the eye, so many different brutal ways, and I really loved all of the kills in this movie. It really lives up to it. So if you're a horror fan who loves to go in seeing all these slasher movies with all these big massive kills, this is going to be a great movie for you, because the slasher kills in this movie are honestly top notch. The Mask as well is another thing that I loved. I'd say it's in my top. I'd say it's top. It's debatable. I love the one from 2018, but I also love the one from the original movie. But I think this movie is fantastic. I am very much debating making this my favourite Michael Myers mask. I love the burnt look. You can see the side of his face where he got shot in the last movie. Half the face is burnt like Dwight in The Walking Dead. Honestly, the effect of this mask, I think, is honestly brilliant. Absolutely perfect. The hair, you can see a lot of it. It's just been destroyed from fire. The mask, which is something in a Halloween movie that if you've seen all the Halloween movies, you know it literally is a gamble, because a lot of them, and I mean a lot of the Michael Myers masks, are terrible. I've got one on my floor in my attic up here, and it's better than a lot of the ones in the movies, which is honestly just shocking. But my last positive with the movie is in terms of, this is not really a spoiler, it's in the trailers, but we do get to see a lot of flashbacks throughout the movie to the night of the 1978 movie. After, when the movie ends, there's stuff after that, and we get to see the stuff after the movie. And I loved all of that. I would have been happy if that was the movie. If the movie was actually just the police force trying to chase down Michael Myers, I wouldn't have mind if that was our movie. It looked like it was ripped directly from the 70s. It looked like it was actually filmed literally after the first movie. It felt like so natural part of that movie. Like I wouldn't be surprised if someone edits the first movie and then edits all these clips at the end of the first movie, because it would feel so natural. It looks perfect. It looks brilliant. I loved all the flashback stuff. That was honestly my favorite part of the movie, and I loved going back to it because it was just so interesting to see Michael Myers back then. Even the look, the design, the way Michael Myers walked, everything about the 70s look of Michael Myers in particular looked honestly perfect. But that's pretty much all my positives for the movie, so let's get into the negatives. So I'll get some of my smaller negatives with the movie out of the way before I get into the biggest negative that really made me go out of this movie going, I didn't like this one. First off was, as I said, the mask was awesome. There's a scene that you can see in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, where you see Judy Greer, I think the actress's name, the one who plays Karen. You see her take the mask of Michael Myers. She's at the end of a yard. He's in the doorway of the house, and she's saying, "Do you want your mask? Come get it." Well, in that we see a lot of Michael Myers' face. I've always loved the fact that we don't see his face. Like, we've seen Freddy's face. We've seen a lot of other horror icons who wear masks. We've seen a lot of their faces. But Michael Myers has always been one that we don't see his face, and I love that. We always see, like, every now and again we see his eyes, or we see the outline of his face, but we never see his face. Like in Halloween 2018, we see the back of his head, so we can see the back of his head. But here we see his face, and I feel like that ruins the mystery. Like, I said that to my brother, and he goes, but you know what the actor looks like? Yeah, but that's different. You know what the actor looks like. Of course, you can just Google that. But the mystery of what's behind the mask was always one of the best things about the character of Michael Myers. You just imagine it's just a blank, emotionless person, and the glimpses we see of his face, he is a blank, emotionless person. But I was just very, very disappointed that we did get to see way too much of his face in my liking. Like, you see the outline of his face, you see him from a distance, you see his side profile. They try to blur it out as best they can, but you can see it very clearly what his face looks like, what he's doing. He's not showing any emotions. He's a bald man with a beard. Really didn't like it, especially because you know Michael is 60 years old. It's been 40 years since the first movie. The first movie he was about 20 something years old, so you know he's in the 60s. But when the mask is on, that doesn't matter. It doesn't feel like he's in the 60s when the mask's on. But when you see without the mask, I just felt it to be really disappointing. Really kind of just ruined the kind of horror element of actually seeing his face as much as we did. I really didn't like that. And you could say it's a nitpick, but that is just something that really ruined the movie for me, that one part. Also, the trailer very much advertises, as well as the posters, almost all the marketing advertises Laurie Strode as the main character of the movie. And I'd have to say Laurie is a background character, really. She's got a few scenes throughout the movie. She has one speech throughout the movie, but for the most part, Laurie doesn't really do much in the movie. For the most part, she just kind of sits around and talks and is in pain, because of course in 2018 we see she got a knife to the stomach, so you know she's not going to be able to do as much as she was in 2018 because it takes place in the same night. But then don't advertise your movie that way. Your movie was advertised as Laurie being a badass, so I was going in with expectations of Laurie will be a badass. For all I know, there was a time skip halfway through the movie. There was going to be a time skip, and we are going to see the following Halloween, but no, it's the same Halloween. Laurie is in a hospital because she's been injured from the last movie, and I just didn't like that. I really found it bad, and one of the reasons was because Laurie's a fantastic fucking character. You can tell that Jamie Lee Curtis gives it her all in these last two movies. You can tell she is loving it. Even if you follow her on Instagram, she's been putting up pictures of the premiere, and she looks like she is on top of the world, just loving every second of that. So you have her not really being part of this movie, and then you look at other characters who are taking the place of the front line, whether it's Tommy Doyle or Lindsay or just other side characters that we saw in the background of Halloween 2018. You see them stepping up to the forefront, and for me, they just weren't good enough characters to carry the movie for me. That right there, I didn't think was also good. I think the characters we followed weren't as intriguing as Laurie Strode. I felt like having Laurie Strode there and not using her, I felt like it was a complete waste of the character. But my final negative with the movie was something I was going into expecting, but I didn't expect it to be as prominent in the story as it actually was. In Halloween 4, we saw a bit of a mob going after Michael Myers, trying to kill him. In this movie, they take that storyline and they almost triple it. You see the entire town of Haddonfield grouping up together, all at a plan to go and take down Michael Myers. They don't care what the law says. They are doing anything they can to kill Michael Myers, and in doing so, I feel like they were trying to send a message to not follow the crowd, that mob mentality is not the right mentality to have. The fact that people say something and then everyone starts believing it, and then it turns out that it's not really something you should be doing. The whole storyline I really, really didn't like. And that is one of the reasons why I didn't really like the movie, because this storyline is it is the main storyline of the movie. I've heard people saying it's a side storyline, but no, it's not. It's the main storyline. You spend your majority of this movie with this group as they're going around in the mob. You watch different segments of different characters and different groups and different teams going out after Michael Myers. And the whole mob storyline I didn't like. Even the way it concludes at the end was just massively, massively disappointing, and it really did ruin Halloween Kills to me, because I really didn't like that storyline. If they made it a side storyline similar to what they'd done in Halloween 4, I wouldn't have minded, but what they done with it, I just didn't like. Also, I don't get why they decided to cancel every movie after Halloween, the original from 1978, and do their own thing, but now they're just taking elements from the other movies. Like, what was the point in just eliminating them if you're going to just do a carbon copy? Like, Halloween 2, Laurie is in the hospital for the entire movie. You spend a lot of time in a hospital. Halloween Kills follows that exact storyline. Halloween 4, there's a mob storyline. Halloween Kills follows that exact storyline. I felt like, I don't know why they decided to do that, unless they just done that so they can start taking elements from them. I just thought that was kind of a lazy way of following the story. I felt like they didn't know exactly how to progress the story, so they just stole it from other Halloween movies. That right there, again, you could say that's a nitpick, but again, that's just an issue that I felt like it was just a lazy way of going about the story, and it just, honestly, it really did ruin Halloween Kills to me. I'm in no real hurry to watch Halloween Kills again. When Halloween Ends comes out next year, I probably will rewatch it just so I can be fresh going into the cinema. But honestly, when this movie ended, my first thought was, if Halloween Ends gets cancelled, because I don't think it's even started filming yet, and it's meant to come out this time next year, like, if this movie gets cancelled, I honestly don't care. My first thought was like, you can reboot this franchise again. I simply do not care anymore. This movie really was a massive, massive letdown to me, and I really did not enjoy myself watching this movie. Besides the kills, again, besides the flashback scenes, they were good, but they really weren't enough to save this movie for me. But let me know your thoughts on Halloween Kills in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm being too negative about it? Or do you completely disagree with me, and do you think it was a fantastic movie, one of the best Halloween sequels of all time? Like, I'm not saying this is my least favorite Halloween movie. It's actually not. I think from memory, I'm going to check my letterbox now, but I'm pretty sure after 12 movies, I have it in 8th place. Like, but that's, again, Halloween just have some terrible movies. Like, you got Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. You got Halloween Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, and Halloween Resurrection. They're all below it. To me, they're not good movies. So, Halloween Kills being just above it, purely because of the kills, I think that's probably the reason they're above it. But this is not a fantastic movie. It's not. It really isn't. I'm very, very disappointed with this movie. As I said, I'm not in any hurry to watch it again, but anyways, let me know all your thoughts on this movie in the comment section down below. Click the subscribe button again so you can come back and see more content from me in the future. And as always, thanks for watching.